Hello.
Hello everyone, it's Madi Madison with Spectrum Art Creations. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you guys will want to craft along with us. We are a mother and daughter duo, right? Crafting duo. Yes, we are a team, and we craft along and collaborate on almost all of our projects. So we hope that you guys will want to do that and craft along with us today. We've actually created some super fun slide up window reveal pockets for you, and this is actually a video that was requested by one of our dear friends and subscribers, so big shout out to Miss Patricia Cook. Thank you for being persistent and hanging in there with us while we actually got this done for you and for everybody else. But they are super fun to make. Basically they slide up to reveal a hidden image or message or maybe a photo. We've done one super colorful with our painty papers, and we've also done one with a paper collection. So you can use whatever you have at hand. This one actually reveals up to show a super fun, colorful image. This one was mostly Madison because she's the one that kind of picked all the images and she loves color. So we had a lot of fun making this with her crafty pages, her painty papers, which she handmade. This one I made, of course, in a more muted palette, and this one's using a beautiful paper line, which I'll be sharing with you throughout the video. I'll share all the products that we've used both in the description box, and I'll also narrate as we go along, but this one's got more of that vintage feel to it. But again, super fun to just put maybe a little maybe quote or message, or maybe like for a birthday, just say, guess who's 5 today or 50, and then just have it reveal their picture. Also, you can, put something super fun like a gift card in here, because that would be so much fun, right? To actually have it slide up and have it reveal a gift card with a message right here on the top slide up piece, right? And then again, just a sentiment here in the front. So many different ways to use these. Super fun to insert also inside of your pockets and your journals, because you can always adhere the back, correct, and just glue that down and then have it just be an interactive element to your journaling and your creations. But without further ado, we are going to walk you through the process. I will be narrating and answering hopefully as much as I can, but I've tried to shorten the video so that you guys can pause it as you need or as you prefer, and not have to, sit there and watch us glue and cut and paste and all that stuff. So I've cut some of that stuff. I've edited it out for you guys, and hopefully that works. Again, we love to hear your feedback and comments. So if you try it, if you like it, if you have questions, we love to hear in the comments what your thoughts are. And don't forget to also make sure you are subscribed, because we love to bring you not only crafty videos, but we also go live every single week and share products with you guys and do all kinds of other stuff, okay? Without further ado, let's get right into crafting. The first thing we'll need to do, of course, is to pull apart our die, but it's very important that you do not cut that top piece off. Only the bottom pieces are we going to be cutting out. The top piece is actually the mechanism for your window, so please make sure you do not cut that top piece. Now, to get the bottom pieces, you can either use your snippers or you can just twist. As you can see, even with my limited fingers here, I had surgery, so I do apologize for the bandages on my fingers, but I had surgery on 2 of my fingers, and even with that, you can see how easy it is to pull them apart. When you're done, you should have 5 pieces total, as you see here, okay? And of course, optional, you can go ahead and snip those other pieces, those little sharp pieces right off. This is the beautiful Fleeting Moments from CraftOClock, a gorgeous collection which comes in different sizes of papers, on all kinds of complementary products as well, such as ephemera and junk journal bits. So I will be placing the link for this in the description box, like all the other items for you. Once you have selected your papers, the next thing you'll need to do is to trim them down to a 6-inch width, because our die is actually about 5 3/4. So you're going to need a 6-inch wide piece of paper, as well as a platform that will cut at least 6 inches wide. The die itself actually provides you with crease lines for folding, so it's as simple as just folding over. You can burnish it down a bit. The front window is also pre-scored by the actual die itself, so all you have to do is bend, and you'll see here how I actually bend up in the middle. Then the little flap at the bottom I fold up, and then the other one at the top, which I'll show you here, you actually bend up. So it kind of looks like a tent, and I'll show you here different angles on how it actually looks, but it looks like a little tent. There are 3 rectangle pieces that are going to be left. The largest one is going to create the slide up mechanism, the tag. And there is another one with a notch, which is going to be the actual one that mats the front. We are going to work with the smallest of them all first. That one you can interchange, you can use it to mat other pieces, you can use it as a front cover, but in our case we are going to create a backdrop. Even though our paper is actually double-sided in this case, and it's beautiful as is, I decided to add a little bit more interest by actually adding another layer in the back. Once the pull slides up, it's going to reveal this really pretty medallion with some watercolor splotches. And of course I'm using some washi tape to actually hold down that die so it doesn't actually jump as I'm die cutting it. And here I just wanted to show you that you can also use it to mat the front flap if you wanted to. But in our case, again, we're using it on the inside. And the fun begins because now we get to look at different elements and just, get some ideas for decorating and layering and collaging. So that's what I'm going to be working on next. Now that the layout for the inside is completed, we're going to now work on the actual tag that pulls up that window mechanism. And again, we're going to be using the 2 largest of the rectangles dies, right? We're going to be using the one that's going to be the back, and then we're going to be using the one that's going to mat in the front. Now, I like to look for this front first because that gives me a really good idea as to what I might want to see on the back, remembering that the back piece is not going to show very much. It's only going to show maybe 1/4 of an inch around all sides. So when I look for those, I look for not what's in the middle, but rather what is going to be on the perimeter of that. And so I'm looking for something maybe with some color, maybe with some green, but see here you can see how I kind of lay them out, and it gives me a really good idea as to how they will work together. Next, I'm going to distress using vintage photo. That is completely optional, of course, but I always feel that distressing the edges or inking the edges always gives it a nice finish look. following step is very, very important. We need to make sure that we use a very strong, permanent adhesive. No tape runners, nothing that is going to potentially eventually in the long run cause for our mechanisms to actually catch. So everything has to be very flat and very well adhered. Now that the inside design is done, we are going to work on our mechanism. So there are two ways to do this. The first thing is you want to make sure that it's nicely lined up, and I use those notches to help me line it up. You can either do it the way I'm doing it here, which is to actually adhere your tag to that little bottom flap where the crease is first, and then to do the sides to close it up. And then the other way is to actually close up the sides first and then glue the tag down. And I'll show you both ways. I'm doing it one way here, and then in the next one, the next project, I'm going to show you the other way of doing that. The last piece is going to be that double hexagon little piece that is going to actually cut out the tabs for the mechanism, for the actual tag that we slide up. It just gives it a little bit of strengthening, plus it gives it a really nice finished look. And just like that, we are done. Now, of course, we can decorate the front. I'm gonna keep mine kind of simple and flat because I'm thinking I'm gonna end up using it inside of a journal. So for that reason, I need it to be somewhat flat. However, as we mentioned, if you're doing this as a birthday card or as a just a sentiment for someone, you can add flowers, you can add ribbons, laces, flat backs, you can do mixed media in the front of it. So you can do so many things to the outside to decorate it. Now this one is completed after I add this little piece that I kind of tore. Instead of just fussy cutting, I cut it. And then we're going to work on the very next one, which I promised you guys we were going to show you a more colorful one. For this one, we are using Madison's Painty Papers. So use your stash. And of course, this beautiful, great pad by Art Bar Marlene. I'm going to add that in the description box as well. It has more than 250 cutouts, which you just punch out, which I thought would be perfect. Given the situation with my fingers, I was a bit tired of cutting and it was starting to hurt. So I decided to just use that pad because it's colorful, it's fun, it's right up Madison's alley. And of course, as I mentioned, no fussy cutting required. And now the fun begins. This is the process where Madison starts to look through the pad and she picks her favorite pieces and we try to see what actually works. The good thing about the pocket is that it actually allows you to use that window to see whether the images would actually fit or work or not, and how they work with your colors as well. With the layout done and the pieces all glued down, we wanted to make it more cohesive so that it's not just glued elements on a background, right? So we decided to bring out one of our favorite stamps for mixed media, for gel printing, for just bringing in things to work together a little bit better. And it is a super fun bubble stamp with splatters. So I'll be sure to link that down below because it is a super fun stamp to work with. Bringing in, again, those elements without having to bring out your splat box and brushes to create your splatter, as well as acrylic paints. So it's just a really fun way to add a little bit of that mixed media element to your projects. As promised, now we're going to actually show you how to put the pocket together in a different way. We are first going to be gluing the sides and closing the pocket, and then we're going to be adhering the mechanism. It's very important that your sides are very dry, that they're well burnished. You do not want to proceed until that is dry. You're going to want to also line up your tag using those little notches, that hexagon. That is a great way of lining up your tag. And then simply we're going to make sure that the tag stops at the bottom of the window. and then we're going to adhere glue to the little bottom flat piece, right? The little flap at the bottom, and then we're gonna glue that down onto the tag itself. And that is it. It is done. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Madison says thank you from far away. Please don't forget to leave us a comment and a thumbs up. We'll see you all back soon. Have a blessed day.